Hello and welcome to Style by Brit, where we look good and live better. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Let me start off by just saying my apologies. So, yesterday I tried to have our Monday motivation with a Facebook Live, and it was an absolute fail. So, for all of those that sent messages, inquiring if they missed it or saying, hey, I logged on, I couldn't see anything, my apologies. It was an absolute fail. So, I decided to go with what I know to get this information out to you today. So, for the motivation for the week, not exactly Monday, but for today, I want to talk a little bit about authentic persistence and getting to the right yes. So, I think we can all say that we've been here where there's been something that we really, really, really wanted. We even had a chance to get it. And after receiving it, we recognize that, hey, maybe this isn't the right time for me to have this or be in this situation, right? So maybe it's not that what we want and desire is wrong, but this may just not be the right time. And so we have a choice when we're faced with those moments. We can either, bulldoze through those feelings in an effort to, have that thing, whatever it is, fill in the blank for you, right? Or we can kind of listen to that voice, to God really telling us, hey, let's pause, let's get in better position. And that was me 2 years ago. That's my story. A little over 2 years ago now, I had put a lot of really hard work, a lot of energy, even a lot of connections on the good word and will of other people into this opportunity to relocate for what I considered the dream job. Like at that time, I guess it was probably October of 2014. You couldn't have told me that there was a better job out there. This was my dream job. And actually, in this particular situation, I had gotten it. But what I realized is that it wasn't the right time. I needed to be in better position. And so I decided to turn the job down. It was an extremely hard decision. And when I give this talk, I've shared this, that two big opportunities to share this experience. The first time with Inroads. Hey, Inroaders, former and current. I came in to do a talk on emotional intelligence for Inroads interns last year, and I shared this experience. And then the second time, I actually shared it with my colleagues. So actually, in January of this year, I was able to share about the things that I learned from this experience. And one of the largest lessons, probably the biggest lesson that I've learned that I think is a great takeaway for anybody, regardless of what that situation may look like for you, is that oftentimes fear of something being the only opportunity, the only relationship, the only mate, the only pair of shoes in your size, right? The only whatever, fill in the blank in terms of what that is for you. But sometimes our fear of the only overshadows our objective analysis of, is this the right opportunity? Okay, so I think, from our careers to business decisions to relationships to financial decision making, that the better question that we should ask ourselves not is this the only blank, but is this the right blank, the right opportunity, right? In my case, and not only is it the right opportunity, but the even better question or the even deeper question is this the right opportunity for me, right? And at the end of the day, only you can answer that question. And so and I don't say that to say, don't seek good counsel, because that is wise to do. It's wise to seek good counsel, to have those mentors. But just know that the more counsel you seek, the more variation in the options you'll have, right? Because everyone will kind of tell you something different. So at the end of the day, you have to make that decision about, is this the right opportunity for me, and not let that fear, right, overshadow your decision making around whether or not you're in the position to really excel in the opportunity. And so we have to recognize that right for everyone else, right, doesn't necessarily mean right for us. So that's where that authenticity comes in, where we really sit down and say, okay, based on my dreams, my goals, my desires, what it is that I'm trying to pursue, is this the right opportunity for me? We have to be authentic in that. And then once we get to that place in determining that, then we have to be persistent, right? We have to be persistent in that authenticity, because what we'll find oftentimes is that once we get really firm on what it is that's right for us, we'll be met with challenges, and not just, obstacles from people that don't like us. Sometimes those challenges will be, persisting through, the opinions and the feedback of those that may really be in support of us, right? But we have to be authentic and persistent through that. And so for 2 years, for two what I feel like were very, very long years, I struggled, and I tried to think of another word to really, make my experience sound a little bit more polished. There's not a better word for it. I transparently and legitimately struggled. I struggled professionally. I struggled emotionally. I struggled mentally. I even would say I struggled physically and spiritually in terms of bouncing back from what was a very hard no for me. And today I'm so glad that I did say that no. And so if you don't take anything else away from this weekly motivation, take this away that oftentimes waiting, right? So hard to do. But the majority of the time, waiting really causes us to check our disposition, right? Check our disposition. How are we thinking about this thing? What's our paradigm around the situation? How do we really feel about it? What's our attitude towards it? It causes us to check that first, check our disposition. It causes us to then realign our position, right? So you have to have the change in your disposition first to be able to realign and put yourself in a better position so that you can properly then transition to what it is that you're trying to pursue. And so I really feel that it is imperative for us then to, as we are waiting, right? That we wait right. We wait right. And so I'm going to categorize waiting right in three different areas. So once we get to that place, like I said, that we check our disposition. This is what I'm thinking about this. This is my attitude towards it. Okay, I've got that in check. I know what it is that I want. Two, I'm going to realign my position, right? And then I'm going to have a better, more prepared transition into what it is that I'm trying to pursue. And many times in the especially for those of us who have a faith foundation, I think that we sometimes get misplaced in what it really means to wait, right? We sometimes think, waiting means sitting around doing nothing. And in my experience, and I'm sharing, again, a professional experience, but I think this holds true whether it's a professional situation in terms of your career, whether it's school, even whether it's waiting for a mate. I have a lot of single friends out there that will hopefully be tuning into this video. Hey, everybody. And I oftentimes, we have these conversations about, I'm waiting for my Boaz. I'm waiting, on my husband. And it's like, okay, wait on your Boaz, but then also consider the way that Ruth waited, right? She wasn't sitting around, sending direct messages and taking selfies, right? She was working to make herself better, right? She waited, right, to put herself into position then to meet her Boaz. So let me give you these three things, these three takeaways for waiting right. And I promise I'm going to get to the big news. Okay. So waiting right, three things I believe you have to have. And in my experience, help propel me to really make this transition. Number one, introspection. I'm going to give them to you and I'll go back and talk through them real quick. Number one, introspection. Number two, intention. And number three, improvement. So when we think about introspection, here's what you have to ask yourself and you have to answer it, right? So no one else can really answer this for you. What is it that you desire, right? What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are your skills? What are your dreams? Spending that quiet time alone with yourself to really get clear about who you are and what it is that you want. And I would say write that thing down. I mean, I did it. I wrote down this is the ideal situation for me. These are my dreams, my desires, my skills. This is how they line up to what I would love for the situation to look like. And be mindful also about who you share that with, right? And that's a whole nother video for another time. But we have to have introspection. And then number two, I think this is probably the biggest of the three, is intention. What is your goal? I'm gonna look down the camera for this. What is your goal, right? What is it that you're trying to pursue? Because know this, there was a huge difference between making moves. And we hear that all the time. Oh, so-and-so's making moves. Oh yeah, girl, I'm making moves. There's a big difference between making moves and making progress, right? There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive, right? So we don't just want to be busy. We don't just want to make moves, but we want to make progress, right? We want to be productive towards that goal, right? So we're intentional about our actions every day. We're taking intentional steps towards what it is we want the situation to look like as we wait. Right? As we wait. And then the third thing is improvement. And anyone that knows me, whether it's in in my career, anyone that knows me personally would tell you that I am huge on continuous improvement. It's in my DNA. I can still hear my dad's voice back when my brothers and I were living at home, and he would always tell us that the biggest room in our house, it's not the den, it's not the kitchen, biggest room in our house is the room for improvement. That is the biggest room in our house. And so as we're waiting then, and we think about this from a professional standpoint, again, whether it's relationships, whether it's making a financial decision, what skills or characteristics can we be improving as we're waiting on whatever that situation that we want it to look like becomes? As we're waiting, what books could we be going through and looking at? What courses, classes could we be taking? What blogs could we be reading? What is it that's going to set us up that we can use to our advantage to help us reach what it is, that we're seeking in terms of that big overarching goal. And so those three things were extremely important for me during those 2 years, getting real with myself about what it was that I wanted, what I wanted to see for myself, what were my dreams, my goals, and my desires, being prayerful through that, right? And then being intentional in my actions, not just doing things haphazardly, even in terms of networking. And I promise you, I've got a series on networking that's going to be so helpful for young professionals. I like to think of it as strategic connections, right? So I'm not just talking and meeting people just because, right, there's a strategic connection that I'm trying to build towards something, whatever that looks like. And I want it to be mutual, right? I want to give value as well as receive. So trust me, that's coming, but making intentional steps, whatever that is, and then ensuring that we are committed to improvement, right? And so those three things really helped my family, Joseph and I. We're so excited to share now with the world, our parents and a few others know. But at the end of this month, we will be making a full relocation to New York City. So we're so excited. I'm so excited to share with you, all my clients and friends, and those that support us, that Style by Britt will be relocating to the Big Apple. So we are absolutely ecstatic about this fresh start. I'm not quite able to share all of the details around the career move just yet, but stay tuned. I promise you I'll be sharing more about that. I plan on doing more of a series for young professionals to really help young professionals grow in that area. And so I'm ecstatic. We're ecstatic about the move. And we also want to share, in preparation for the move, again, I mentioned I will be moving the end of this month on Saturday. So if you are in the Chattanooga area, we're actually having a huge estate sale. So stay tuned. After this video on my social media, I will be posting this flyer. You can see here. It'll look like this. It has all the information about the move. If you don't want to wait for my post, you can go online because all of the information is on there right now. www.stylebybrit.com. If you click on the tab that says estate sale, you'll see a pre-sale that's actually listed. And I've gotten all kinds of messages already about people that are inquiring about items. All of our big ticket items are on there, as far as furniture, bedroom suits, electronics, televisions. There's even a car on there. So everything literally must go, including this office furniture. And so all of that information is on my website. In a pre-sale format, so you can actually go online right now. If you see something you like, go ahead and purchase it. We'll put a sold sign on your items, and then you can come pick it up on Saturday. But the actual sale will start on Saturday at 7 a.m. So stay tuned for more information as we continue to transition. I had a few clients already reach out. I will still be styling clients, and actually this will be even more fun because I'll have more opportunities and places to shop for you to help you look good and live better. So no worries there. Still be speaking. I have two big talks I'm very excited about that are coming up. One at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, go Vols, and the other at TSU College of Business, go Tigers. So I'm excited. We're still speaking, still styling. So stay tuned. Thank you for all the well wishes as we transition to New York. Bye.